Welcome back. This is Wild Eats and I'm Christy Lee. This morning I went out into the woods with the intentions of showing you guys some more edible mushrooms that you may be able to find this time of the year. Unfortunately, there were no mushrooms out there. Despite the last few very warm days and the copious amounts of rain, the mushrooms have not come up yet. Hopefully here soon. So instead of doing a little mushroom forage, I thought I would bring you back to my home. I live in a little camper, and I'd give you a little tour of my pantry so you guys can get an idea of what kinds of mushrooms and plants are out there that you can find and forage and eat. I literally have jars stuffed in every crevice of this little camper, as well as many shelves filled with goodies too. Okay, so where to start? These two jars down here are filled with dehydrated lion's mane mushroom. Lion's mane is edible. It's also an incredible, powerful medicinal mushroom that is really good for your brain and cognitive health. So I'm making tinctures from these. And then next to it, we've got some dried chicken of the wood strips. One of my favorite wild mushrooms. Has an incredible texture and takes on pretty much any flavor you give it. So for people who do not like to eat meat and you're always looking for really good meat substitutes, the chicken of the woods is a great chicken substitute, and the lion's mane is a great seafood substitute. To the left of the chicken of the woods is not a mushroom. However, it is something that was wild caught. This is my dehydrated sourdough starter. Sourdough is made by capturing a wild yeast, feeding it, growing it to a sizable colony, which then creates the flavor of the sourdough bread. So this is, even though it doesn't seem like it, a wild food. Behind that, we've got some Craterellus. This is a species I found last year that is brand new to me. I thought it was yellowfoot chanterelles or winter chanterelles, but so far it seems like they are a species that has not been identified yet. So I found a ton of those, and I haven't eaten any yet because I sent them off to get DNA sequenced, and I just want to make sure I know what I'm looking at before I decide to eat them, if you know what I mean. So waiting to hear back on that one. Next to that is a big jar of black trumpet mushrooms, and I find tons of black trumpets. I was really hoping to see some out in the woods this morning, but they weren't there. And yes, this is just one jar of them. I have several this size. Even though people say that black trumpets are rare, that has not been the case for me. Once I found them, I just kept finding them. So it's nice to have. And they're again one of my favorites. They have a really unique, smoky, almost like truffle flavor. And behind this, we've got a jar of usnea, which is a really good natural medicine. I'm tincturing some of this as well, and it's got a lot of really great uses. So moving down here, got another jar of those unidentified Craterellus species, and then I've got a little jar down here. This has common puffball mushrooms dehydrated, as well as some wood ear. You can see that if you're familiar with them. You'll know what you're looking at there. These puffball mushrooms are actually really delicious as well. They have such a delicate texture. If I could find one of those giant ones, that would be so tasty. You could use it to make like pizzas, vegan pizzas with and stuff. I hope to be able to find one of those one day. Alright, back to this cabinet. We've got several jars of chanterelles. They look really small because we don't get huge ones here in Florida like they do in like Oregon and Washington State and stuff like that. But they have shrunk a lot in the dehydrating process. But these are another really tasty mushroom. In here I've got some turkey tail mixed with some Craterellus. The turkey tail is not really for eating. You can make a tea with it, and it can be turned into medicine. It's really good for anxiety, actually. I just learned that, so I'm going to try some of that tea eventually. Here we've got some Old Man of the Woods mushrooms. These are another edible mushroom. Unfortunately, I have not been brave enough to try this or any of the other mushrooms that look like a sponge underneath them. It just kind of freaks me out, but some people say they're pretty good. Other people say it's not worth it. I've got some slices of oyster mushrooms, also good edible, good meat substitute, and really, really good for your brain health. And oyster mushrooms grow pretty much any time of year, as long as there's rain. In this jar, we've got some Amanita jacksonii. This is the closest thing we have to the UK's or Europe's Caesar mushroom. These are said to taste like some type of cheese, and I can't remember. I haven't tried them myself. I should be finding more of these soon. I only have a few because it took me a while to positively identify them. But they smell kind of cheesy. In this one, we've got some clusters of ringless honey mushrooms. So I've found the bulbous honey mushroom before, and actually I sold all those off, so I don't have any to show you. And then these are the ringless. I love the little clusters they grow in. Here is a jar of white clover. I just started yesterday. This grows in our yard. And this is in oil because I'm going to be making a healing salve with this. In this jar, there's some broadleaf plantain, tincturing, and alcohol. And here are some dandelion blooms in oil for a salve. And today I'm also using dandelion to make my first ever batch of dandelion jelly. That's in the process right now, so I'll show you that when it's done. Here's a jar of dehydrated sweet tooth hedgehog mushrooms. That is the mushrooms, that and the bulbous honey mushrooms are both of those that you saw me foraging for in the last video I put up. These are really tasty as well. I've got some curly dock that I've dried. I'm filling this jar up. And then some plantain back there as well. That's both medicine. Some goldenrod from last year that's been hanging to dry. I make medicines with that as well. There's just so much out there. I'm learning new things every single day. And I'm so excited to share it with somebody. You guys, somebody who will listen. This is the dandelion jam. Isn't that such a lovely color? It's so pretty. And I just tasted it. It tastes really good. Said to have the flavor of fresh honey. And I'd agree. The weeds that all the lawn care people try to tell you to get rid of. The weeds that so many products are made to kill. The entire plant is edible and medicinal. I just went out and got a bunch of seeds just to blow them around in my yard so that I would have them in my yard the next time I want to grab some. Just a little tour of things that I've collected from the wild that you can eat, that you can use as medicine. And there's so much more out there, and I can't wait to share with you all. If you're enjoying this channel, I hope you stick around. We're gonna do lots of mushroom hunting over the next several months. I'll be sharing some of my favorite recipes with you guys for cooking those mushrooms. I'll be teaching you how to make tinctures and salves with wild plants. Lots of really fun stuff coming on this channel, and I hope to see you again in the next one, guys. Bye.